Hello and welcome to the Cornish Witch podcast. I'm your host Freya, a witch who lives in Cornwall but who isn't a born and bred Cornish maid. There is no specific guest for today's episode. Instead, it's a collection of recordings that I took over the weekend where Tarosvan was held. If you've been listening to my previous episodes, you might remember that I've been mentioning in the Witch Weekly Events the festival of Tarosvan, which was held over the 27th and 29th of March. Tarosvan is the Cornish word for ghost or phantom, and the Tarosvan festival, which was the first of its kind held in Launceston, was a festival of ghost stories. It has been created and run by Emily, who runs Black Cat Books, and Lawrence, who runs the Ghost Tours in Launceston. They also featured on my episode The Dark House, which was a Christmas special. If you remember my episode back in October last year called Witch Festival, this episode is going to be quite a similar structure to that one. But rather than me interviewing lots of different people for mini interviews, it's going to be more of you listening to what recordings I've captured from the events over the weekend. So a little bit like a documentary style episode. You will hear me narrate a couple of things now and then throughout the episode. And there will be a couple of short interviews asking people how they're finding the event, if they're enjoying it, that sort of thing. But yeah, this is something a little bit different compared to sort of the usual episodes that I have on here. Let me know what you think of it. If you like it and you'd like to see more episodes like this and you'd like to see me cover more live events and festivals, then please leave a comment. And if you don't like it and you just want to say, Freya, stick with what you know, it's rubbish, I won't take offence. I won't waffle on any further. I shall let you get into the episode and I hope you enjoy. Emily Lawrence, welcome back to the Cornish Witch podcast.
Thank you so much for having us back.
Great to be back again.
We're kicking things off this weekend with the first Tarosvan festival, which is very exciting. So can we talk about it a little bit and explain to our listeners what it's all about and what they can expect if they come along, especially when it's on again in October?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So this is the inaugural Tarosvan. I'll say a little bit about it and then Lawrence can say a little bit about it. So essentially this was sort of Lawrence's brainchild, to be honest. Came along and said to me last autumn, do you know what would be a really good idea? Because Launceston is the haunted capital of Cornwall. It would just be such a great idea to celebrate that and to share it and to get people to realise the heritage of what they have under their feet. Don't you think, Lawrence?
Yeah, I am guilty of engaging in flights of fancy and suddenly getting ideas which all of the ideas always seem brilliant to me. Of course, 85% of them are anything but brilliant. But this particular idea, I found receptive ears when I suggested it to Emily. Yeah, we kind of just picked it up and ran with it straight away.
So what is it that makes Launceston the haunted capital of Cornwall?
Partly because I created that slogan myself. is the true factual answer. But no, so Launceston was the capital of Cornwall right through until the 19th century when it became first Bodmin, then Truro, heading west. And then I just like the idea, riffing on that it's the haunted capital of Cornwall, just purely because there's so many ghost stories here and so many haunted dwellings, so many haunted buildings.
Yeah, I remember when we were doing our episode in the Dark House, which is the Southgate Arch, and we were talking about how haunted that place was and the experiences that we had recording there. So what sort of events or how many events can we expect to happen over this weekend that people have got tickets to and what they're going to see and experience?
So we're actually kicking off tonight. So today's Friday. The first event tonight is a special ghost walk because Lawrence is the ghost man. So special ghost walk around the town. It's actually looking like a lovely night. And that will finish up in the bell. And then tomorrow we have got paranormal author Martin J. Best. So we have an author event with him right here in the shop. And then in the evening, we've got kind of our main events, which is a live ghost hunt in the White Hart Hotel, which I have heard has a lot of activity on a regular basis. And that's starting at 7:30, you get a meal and everything. And we have professional paranormal investigators along as well. And that goes right through till 2 a.m. So, that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And then on the Sunday, we've got the kind of upstairs room in the Bell. And we have got some talks there. So we've got the artist Ethan Pennell, who's going to talk about Ghost on Dartmoor. And we have Karine Bezant, who heads up the paranormal investigation team for the Jamaica Inn. She's going to talk about the Jamaica Inn. And we're finishing off on the Sunday evening with an evening of mediumship with medium Claire Hinks. Really excited.
Sounds absolutely incredible. We will get to the ghost hunt tomorrow in a second. Lawrence, what can people expect from your ghost tour around Launceston?
Disappointment.
Stop it.
No, so look, we kick off at 7:00 in the town square. And we're going to walk past, amongst other places. It's a sweet shop now, like a sort of American candy store, but it was, up until the end of the 19th century, the London Inn, this tiny alleyway, closed to traffic during the day, was the original A30, and the London Inn there was a coaching inn for the London to Land's End route. And although it's it's a sweet shop now, it's very modern inside. Its decor and furnishings, the actual fabric of the building dates back hundreds and hundreds of years to the medieval period. And the lady who owns the place, she sees and hears things all the time. So we're walking past there and showing people what they can, what happens in there. Onto the churchyard of St. Mary Magdalene. And we're telling a few ghost stories, a few places where, it's said to be haunted, things are said to occur, and one or two ghost stories that are said to be true and which have a connection. So, for instance, the churchyard. There's a wonderful, famous ghost story involving the old rector of the church in the 17th century. And we're going to the castle grounds. There's another story from the 18th century of a man who was hanged there for murder after his ghost allegedly came back and gave testimony against him.
Very interesting. And where does the ghost tour finish?
So we're going to finish this time at the Bell Inn, which is the oldest pub in Launceston. And the back room, we're going to be sat by the fire. The back room itself is haunted. And so a perfect place to sit down, have a beer, a little relax, and hopefully hear some of the guests' own experiences.
That sounds very exciting. So what are your personal experiences of ghosts within Launceston town? Do you have any personal ghost stories or any experiences that, have made the hairs stand up on the back of your neck?
Yeah, during the ghost walks, in fact. So we've been running the ghost walks since the summer, and a really interesting day it was the last day of August, the last Thursday of August, and we went up into the dark house, into the South Gate Arch, and we got the dowsing rods out, and we made contact with the ghost of a pickpocket called Dick. Afterwards, one of the ladies on the tour told me that while I was stood with my back to the window, she saw the ghost, which we presume is Dick, a man in sort of old dress, she thought perhaps Tudor dress, sat down on the window ledge, head in his hand, as if he was listening to the story and being interested himself. I then went into the White Hart Hotel, and a few things have happened there, but during Halloween, something really interesting happened, and it involved balloons. So I was sat there, and I sit down, I let people go and explore by themselves and see what they can see. And I was noticing there were balloons blown up in the ballroom, and just one was moving, and it started it was like padding towards me, and it came up sort of on the end with the bit where you blow your air into and then not. It sat up on that. And I was watching it and I was thinking, that's interesting. And then it fell down. And then afterwards, one of the guests came back and she said to me, she said, "Oh, this was really interesting. I saw this, I heard this." And I said, "Yes. And when you did, I saw this balloon behaving in a really odd way." I said, and I would have said it was just the breeze, but for the fact that none of the other balloons did the same. And I pointed it out to her. And as we sat there looking, it's exactly the same thing. It sat up slowly on its end and then padded, I'd say 3 times towards us before giving up the ghost.
before giving up the ghost. Emily, what about you? Have you had any personal ghostly experiences in Launceston?
Here in Launceston, no, but I have had quite a few spooky experiences. They're quite long stories though, but I spent a good part of my childhood in a haunted house on the edge of Dartmoor. And I also had a really spooky experience in Bodmin Jail when I was doing a ghost hunt there. So yes, I have had stuff happen. Nothing in Launceston as yet, but the weekend is young.
Yes, we've got time. There is time. So what is the thing that you are both, which event are you both most looking forward to, or are you really excited about this weekend, Emily?
Do you know what? I'm looking forward to all of it, but I just think because of the nature of the event, I'm really looking forward to the live ghost hunt. I have.
Yeah, me too. Lawrence, what are you looking forward to the most this weekend?
Likewise, the live ghost hunt stands up. Do you know, it was funny because when we first talked about this, we wanted some sort of headline event. And I was thinking something along the lines of maybe, a theatrical show of some kind, some kind of event like this. And Emily said, wouldn't it be great if we did an overnight ghost hunt in one of the haunted hotels in town? And from the moment she said that, I was just won. And yeah, I can't wait for this to happen.
And the White Hart has been very collaborative with both of you in running this ghost hunt. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be around all weekend podcasting for you guys, picking up bits and pieces here and there. What would you recommend for people who are perhaps in Launceston this weekend? If there are any tickets left for things?
We are all sold out for this weekend, which is really exciting. Sorry if you've missed out. I've literally just had a call from someone who wanted to book onto an event that's sold out. But the good news is you don't have to wait long because we are planning the second Tarosvan for October for spooky season. So get in there quick because we will start dropping events as soon as we have them nailed down and booked, and we will be putting those on socials. My advice would be to book because you don't want to miss out again.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you can share for October? Any little hints or anything that you're allowed to disclose, or is it all a little bit top secret undercover at the moment?
There is something that I think we can share. The greatest poet laureate the nation never had, Charles Causley, is from Launceston, and he lived here all his life. And his home, which is open to the public, is known to be haunted. In fact, Charles wrote about ghosts when he lived there, and so I know we'll be doing something with the Charles Causley Trust, getting into a partnership with them, and we'll be doing something there. I don't know what yet, but I have a feeling it'll be a ghost hunt. And then there's one or two other things that we are going to put on. I know that we really, really, really want to put on a theatrical performance of an old gothic horror like Jekyll and Hyde or Dracula, with a bit of music, some sound effects. I know we've been looking into this and we're really keen on putting this on.
That sounds excellent. And I've just had an idea in mind, depending on when you hold it during spooky season, to have a big party at the end.
That would be a masked ball.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That would be wonderful.
So I think people will be very interested in that. Yeah, I think that tickets would definitely sell for that, for a masked ball. Like a Halloween themed masked ball. And it does have a ballroom. And it's haunted.
Lots of ghosts.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so the message is, if you missed out this time, you need to come to Tarosvan in October because it's going to be banging.
Literally, they could be banging on the walls. What would you... So I'm going to be, as I said, around trying to get as many little bits and pieces and interviews as I can this weekend. What would you recommend I should be running over to, or running across town to try and grab a quick interview or a quick soundbite with somebody?
Well, I know that Karine Besant, who heads up the Jamaica Inn Paranormal Investigation Team, is an absolutely wonderful raconteur. She has got thousands of stories stored in her head and she tells them well. So you definitely want to speak with her.
Excellent.
I think also pop in the White Hart because loads of the staff members have cool stories to tell. I mean, people love, as Lawrence will tell you, people love to share their ghost stories.
Emily and Lawrence, I'm really looking forward to this weekend. Congratulations. And yeah, break a leg for this weekend and it's going to be a real success. It's a little bit chilly tonight, but do you think it's adding to the atmosphere here?
Let's go with yes.
Yeah. I was just saying, Lawrence looks resplendent in all of his ghost tour finery with his top hat, cane and coat.
This is normal clothing. I don't know what you're on about.
So where are we heading to now? Where?
Genuinely don't know.
Oh, no,
I think we're going to the churchyard.
Yeah, we're just on Church Street, and we're just stopping outside one of the old shops in Church Street.
Hereabouts Wizzy Woo now, which I think Lawrence has mentioned before is super haunted. Used to be a pub.
Excellent.
So, Fizzy Wizzy Woo, an American candy store. But back in the day, the London Inn, believe it or not, this traffic street you're standing on now was the original London part of original London to Land's End Highway. This is the 830. Really, this is the original 830. And all traffic heading into Cornwall had to pass through the South Devon. Wow. And this was the London Inn. In fact, it was funded in from the 17th century right through to the end of the 19th century. It's a plethora of character details in the beautiful as a different fireplace. Richard Leaves. One thing that isn't anymore is a spiral staircase, and yet Kimbo, lady who owns the shop, here's the footsteps going up and down where the staircase used to be, almost on a daily basis. She also sees the ghosts of two young ladies now, worthy farmers, all of the ladies of the night for in those days, and then often doubles as a brothel. And she also sees an elderly man with a beard smoking a pipe. She smells at the back and we see the landlord walk just before the hunter. Finally, she also hears coming from the back horses' hooves and neighing, because of course at the back is where the stable used to be. Right, in that building there. In that building there, and also the buildings on either side are newer. So originally it took off all three blocks. Its tower dates to the 14th century, which is when it was built by Edward the Black Prince. Yet the rest of the church is 200 years younger. The town of Lawston had to wait 2 more centuries before the job was actually completed. And when it was the work of one Sir Henry Trecarrell. Now, Sir Henry was building a mansion for his family about 5 miles from here. And if you look at the exterior of the church, these wonderfully carved granite blocks, these had actually been carved for that mansion. But then tragedy struck. Sir Henry's 5-year-old son drowned in the bath. And he was so distraught that, well, he didn't give up on life. He certainly gave up on his dreams of a fine family home and donated all the stonework, all the carvings to the town to build a church. It's Grade 1 listed. It's described by Pevsner as one of the finest churches in the whole of Britain. And those carvings you see are unique. There isn't another church in the whole of Britain. Carvings like this. Now, there are a number of superstitions attached to this graveyard and the churchyard, I should say. The most famous involves the statue of Mary Magdalene herself lying on the back of the wall there. It's said that if you stand roughly here, cast the stone behind your back, and if it lands on Mary's back, you'll get good luck. Specifically, a new suit of clothes for men, and if you're a student of school age, good luck in your exams. So, my beautiful assistant here has some stones in this cup. She's going to bring them around. Anyone who wants to take a part and have a go, welcome to give it a go.
I'm in.
And you'll notice that the windows are protected by grills.
Yeah. Very good.
Just in Mary Magdalene churchyard, and as Lawrence is just going to describe, there's a figure of Mary Magdalene that's carved into the wall, and the traditional superstition is that if you stand with your back to Mary Magdalene and you throw a stone over her shoulder, which many people are doing right now, if it lands on her back, then you should be getting some good luck. And it is seems to be quite a little bit of fun.
Freya, would you like to throw a stone?
I don't think I'm going to try my luck, Emily. Thank you. I'm not going to try my luck this evening.
I'm going to have a try.
I think you should, yes. It's a good bit of entertainment, though.
I used to do this when I was at school.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, close. Do you have to be standing from a certain distance, or is it just you just try your luck anywhere? Or so
It is.
by the like the okay.
It's a witchy thing.
Yes.
I love you to do this. What fate in this?
I used to do this when I was at school.
That was 40 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Genuinely. That's all right.
Oh, and you can do this. Oh, no, it's all really. Are you having a little time yet?
Just throw the whole thing, you'll get one.
Yeah, I'll give it. I'll give
go
it
on.
a go.
Yeah.
Let's start with 3.
Oh,
no.
there you go.
Right.
Only one person so far.
No.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, the pressure! The pressure to get the stone.
Come on, love, you can do this. I've got faith in you.
Oh, yes!
Oh, did it fall? Oh,
You did quite well.
thank you, thank you.
You'll pick up stragglers.
I won't ask for any audience participation. But what I will ask is anyone suffers from a stiff neck? Yeah. Well, if you come here on the morning of the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd of May, and you walk to the gravestone of the person of the opposite sex last buried here, run your finger across the dew from the top of the grave down to the bottom. Rub it on the afflicted part of your neck, and that should make it better.
Find the grave.
Yeah. In the meantime, crane next or otherwise to the top of the canopy of yew trees. It's said that something lives there, something which is old, something which is dark, something which is and should never be. Wendigo, to quote Led Zeppelin.
Andrew?
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah.
Underneath the yews are a number of broken gravestones. An old man called Kevin Wadland told me that on Midsummer's Eve, they're seen to dance in a circle. The stones come to life and dance in a circle. And finally, the churchyard is home to something called Kergrim. At this stage, I like to ask people who have any questions.
What is the cake?
It's a great question.
I mean, I did that one there, didn't I?
A Kergrim exists only in East Cornish folklore. It's not talked about anywhere else. And in fact, it's believed to be unique to this very churchyard. And what it is a type of ghoul that preys on the flesh and bones of the living and the dead. So with that in mind, won't linger any longer. Follow me. What we will see here, though, is some slippy old stone steps. Definitely raining. Please just be careful as you follow me, okay?
It's quite creepy walking through a canopy of yew trees in the dark with a load of headstones either side of me. Would anyone like to have a little chat and tell me how they found the walk so far, if you're enjoying it? Yeah? What's your name? Robbie, how are you finding the ghost tour this evening?
I find it very interesting.
And whereabouts do you live in Cornwall?
Cannington.
Oh, so you're not too far?
No.
What have you found most interesting about the tour this evening?
The way that he's portrayed himself.
Yeah, Lawrence is very good.
What's his name?
Lawrence.
Where I come from, we call that Laddie. So his name's Laddie. Yeah. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And tonight I had something else on. So I thought, I do like singing in a church. So I thought, I'll give it a miss. So I've come here tonight and I've really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm really glad that you've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
How have you been enjoying the ghost tour this evening so far?
Yeah, it's been interesting actually. I'm glad it's dark now. I was a bit worried when it was daylight at 7.
Certainly adds a little bit more to the atmosphere.
Yeah. But the church is good, and the church graveyard. That was interesting. That's the stories there. But
Did your stone land on the statue of Mary Magdalene?
no,
Neither did mine.
No, I don't know how. I don't think I got close at all, actually. But never mind. The closest I'll be to getting stoned tonight, I think. Sorry, not allowed to say that.
It's okay. It's a safe space. What's your name? Julie or Raven? Julie. Your Wiccan name is Raven. Lovely. And how are you finding this evening's tour?
I love it. I love anything like this. I love vigils, all of it.
What has been your favourite spot on the tour so far?
Here. I love anything that's really, really old.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to do with witch trials, anything like that. I love it. Absolutely love it.
And have you been able to sense anything, or have you felt some sort of energy throughout the whole tour this evening?
No, I haven't actually. No. Usually I have to be on my own somewhere and just sit and concentrate, meditate a bit.
That's fair enough, because sometimes we can all bring a lot of energy.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's all interfering. Now I went to Woodchester Mansion. That was a different thing. Something had me by the throat in there. So
sounds scary.
Yeah. I'm not a full medium. I'm what you call a sensitive.
Yeah.
So I sense things and things happen. I can't control it. I've done lots of training, but yeah, I seem to see things, smell things. Don't usually hear things. Children, they like me, and animals like me, seem to like me. So yeah, I seem to have a lot of weird stuff like that.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So that was the clips from the ghost walk that Lawrence did in the evening. It was absolutely freezing, as you could probably tell when you would hear me speak. But like I said, it just added to the whole spookiness of the evening as well. Lawrence will be doing more ghost tours throughout the summer in Launceston. So if it's something that you would like to experience and you'd like to book on, I shall link his details in the show notes. And you can just check for updates for when he is going to start running those tours again in the summer months. And I would really recommend going on them because they are quite a lot of fun.
Thank you, everybody, for coming along. So this is our second event for the inaugural Tarosvan Festival of Ghost Stories. In case you don't know, Tarosvan is Cornish for phantom. So Martin, on your website, you are billed as a paranormal fantasy author, correct?
Yes.
Is that how you kind of sum yourself up?
Yes, it's fairly difficult to pin the books down to a specific genre. I would call them supernatural thrillers with a dark fantasy element, although other people call them hard fantasy and urban fantasy, even psychic thrillers. But yeah, they're
there's
pretty much
paranormal fantasy, kind of people tend to immediately go for Dennis Wheatley and that kind of thing, but you're a little bit different from that, I think, looking at your work.
Yeah, they're very much a grounded paranormal story. I like them to be believable, let's put it that way.
I think I said to you when you first got here, because I've read some bits of as many of your books as I could, and I've read around your books as well and read about you quite a lot, and it does feel almost like I'm reading a Danny Robbins podcast, sort of the uncanny. They very much come across as very real. I'm looking at Freya because Freya is a big fan of Danny Robbins.
Yeah.
And I think they very much come across as something to do with that. Just for people who do not know, you are the author of the Ghost Hunter series, aren't you? Can you give us a little bit of an outline of those, of the series? And then I know you've got another series that you're on as well, haven't you?
Yep, there's the complete series, which are now called the Malachi Hunter stories.
Mhm.
They were originally called the Ghost Hunter series.
Okay.
But last year I republished them as the Malachi Hunter stories and revamped them quite dramatically.
Yeah.
They follow the main character, Malachi Hunter, who starts as a solo paranormal investigator. And throughout the course of the series, he builds a paranormal investigating team and investigates various hauntings. The fantasy element is provided mostly through Celtic mythology and folkloric influences, without giving too much of the plots away. Yeah, I'd say it's a very grounded series. It's been described as a slice of life sort of series. There are real world issues which impinge on the supernatural elements as well.
You're doing very well at not giving the game away.
Yeah,
here,
it's
actually.
difficult not to say too much, because obviously I want you to read them.
So I'm going to actually ask you to tell us some of your, because I know that some of your personal ghost stories do appear in here in various guises.
They do.
But before I ask you to spin us some yarns, there is a lot of Celtic mythology and folklore actually woven through your books. Have you always had a love of that kind of thing?
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Raised with folkloric traditions?
I suppose my interest in it probably started quite a young age, reading Alan Garner's books, The Weird Stone of Brisingamen and The Moon of Gomrath. Alan Garner set both of those stories in his local area, and he drew on a lot of Celtic folklore, and he used quite a bit of Irish folklore and used it to his own advantage in the stories, and mixed it up quite a lot as well. And I've sort of followed in that tradition, but using mostly Celtic folklore.
Is it too much of a spoiler to ask you some of the folklore that you've used?
I use mostly the more well-known Celtic gods, and elements such as the Summerlands, the kind of the Celtic heaven, if you like. And in the book that I'm currently writing, the third Carolyn Hunter story, I'm also using Dubnos, which is the Celtic underworld. That comes into it as well. Yeah, I'm quite involved with the Celtic sort of mystical side, if you like.
Base your books in South Devon?
I do, yes.
Yeah, so that's where you're from, isn't it?
Yeah, the bulk of the stories are in and around Torquay, which is my hometown.
Do you ever think you might move beyond?
Well, some of the story does go beyond. There's some of it set in Kent. One of the books, Pariahs, a lot of the action's in Pluckley, which is the most haunted village in England. So, yes, there are different locations.
Well, this being a festival of ghost stories, tell us some of your ghost stories, because I know you've had some ghostly experiences.
Well, the house I grew up in was haunted. It was quite a strange old place. My parents bought it from a very elderly lady in the early 1960s, and she was a practicing spiritualist. She held seances in the house on her own.
Oh,
yes.
On her own?
Yes.
Lady.
She was quite eccentric, to say the least. I mean, I never met her, but my parents had told me about her. She kept small dogs of some breed, I don't know specifically what, as pets. And as they had passed away, so she had them stuffed and mounted and kept them in a glass cabinet in the front room, which perhaps sets the scene.
Did you see any of these?
I didn't, but my parents and my sister did.
So what happened to them after she died?
Well, she would have taken them with her, because she didn't pass away until after she'd left the house.
Cluttered off with all her stuffed dead.
She would have taken all this with her, yeah. At least 2 or 3, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but I think that perhaps gives you a picture of what she was like.
Right, so go on then, do tell.
But she passed away 2 or 3 years after my parents bought the house, which would have, as I say, in the early 60s. I was born 1965. My earliest memories of the house was it never quite felt empty. There was always a feeling of being watched. If you want the technical term, is scopaesthesia. Things would move. Things wouldn't be where you left them. I can clearly remember, excuse me, got a bit of a frog. Yeah, I will in a moment. I can clearly remember on many occasions coming back after a family outing, my mother being convinced that someone had been in the house while we'd been out, because things wouldn't be as she had left them.
Yeah.
Excuse me. As Lawrence has heard before, there were two memorable occasions for me as a child, and I would have been around 10 or 11 years old. One of which was cycling in the drive of the house, which went up the side of the house and past my bedroom window, and riding my bike up and down the drive. And as I passed my bedroom window, I could see a figure standing at the window watching me going past. And I thought this was a bit odd, and the only person in the house was my mother. And I thought, well, why would she be watching me? So in the end, I gave in to curiosity and went into the house to find her in the kitchen and asked her why she'd be in my bedroom, and she hadn't.
The next section that you're about to hear was from the main event of the festival, which was the ghost hunt that was held in the White Hart Hotel. The White Hart Hotel is famously haunted in Launceston, and the ghost hunt was held overnight. So we were there from 7 until about 2 o'clock in the morning in the ballroom. It was facilitated by Corrine and Lisa, who run the Jamaica Inn paranormal team. So they brought their wealth of experience with them in how to communicate with the spirits, but also they brought a lot of gadgets and gizmos to help spirits connect with, communicate with us, to see temperature changes and temperature fluctuations. They brought lots of different communication tools, including a Ouija board, and there was also a planchette, which had a pen in it. So you'd put your hands on the planchette, and then it would move, and the pen would write something on the paper that was underneath. What I will say about these clips is, for some reason, and I don't know why, they have not come out great. In fact, there's a lot of interference on these audio clips. It's really strange. I was using the exact same recording equipment as I used with Lawrence on the ghost tour, the exact same recording equipment that I had used when Emily was interviewing Martin Best, and the exact same equipment for when I interviewed Emily and Lawrence. I'm sure there is a rational or a logical explanation. Maybe it was all of the electrical equipment that was already in the room. I like to think it was ghosts, but yeah, there is a lot of interference and distortion on the voices. So I don't have as many clips as I would like, because it was just really, really difficult to salvage the recordings. But I will play you what I was able to sort of save from it, and you will hear the interference in there as well. But yeah, unfortunately, the ghosts just didn't want me recording that night, so they kind of sabotaged me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's what I believe anyway. So sorry for the quality. We can blame the spirits.
It's yes and no answers. Very easy. It's 2 fingers per person. Straight line for yes, straight line for yes, circle no. But it takes enthusiasm to get it going. Okay? It's a thing of calling out enthusiasm. So calling for any spirit. Sometimes you get loved ones come through. If you do, say that it came to you and wants to talk to you, you take your finger off so you're not influencing the answers. Because subconsciously we do push it, same as we do. All right? Okay. So, what I normally say, when spirits here, forward, straight line for yes, circle for no, and you have to keep repeating that bit, because obviously spirits forget. No, they don't, but you have to keep saying it again. Yeah. So calling out the spirits of the White Hart, we ask you to draw 4 around this table. We have a wooden box here, or a wooden piece of wood, that can move in a straight line or a circle for yes and no answers. So we ask that you use the energy of those around this table and push the planchette in a straight line for yes and a circle for no. If there's someone around this table you have a message for, would like them to talk, push the planchette to the person that you want to converse with. So that's how you do it. But you have to talk again and again. As you know, it's enthusiasm, but also it's enthusiasm subconsciously everyone around the table. So you sit there, you get nothing energy in it. So I've done this hundreds of times, but I'm still enthusiastic. And that's the secret of it, because you never know. So I'm going to leave you. I'll come back in a second to see how you're getting on.
Okay.
If someone wants to start or taking turns, just remember, don't have long pauses.
If there are any spirit here from the White Hart Hotel, please could you move the card check in a circle? If you're here but you're not from the White Hart Hotel, then please move in a straight line.
We are really eager to speak to you tonight. So anyone that wishes to speak to us, please say yes, which is in a circular motion, and we'd love to hear from you. Is there anybody there that would speak to us tonight? The lady in the black dress that I saw earlier up there. Would you like to come and talk to us? You were very curious.
Don't be afraid to push the chat. We're really eager to hear from you.
We would love it if you would be able to put your energy in it and just move it. Just move the word like you can do it.
We don't mean any harm.
No. We are very grateful that you came and that you saw me. Very grateful for your presence. And we are very honored for you to show to us. So we just want, if you would like to have a little conversation with you, or maybe if you would like to tell us something, anything is possible. And the lady in the black dress, were you the lady that was walking up and down? If you were, can you push this in a circular motion for yes? And if you weren't, can you go horizontal in a line for no?
It's way right.
Yeah. Just to track someone else.
If someone else is here with us, can you please draw a circle to know that you are here?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You.
Hello.
Hello.
It's lovely to talk to you tonight.
Nice strong energy. Thank you so much. Are you male? Be female. Thank you. Matt, you asked 2 questions straight. Okay, I'm sorry. So she's answering yes, but you don't know if it's male or female now. Oh, okay. So we all get so excited. Okay. When something comes through, you want to get it all out. Sorry. Yeah, she went. Yeah. Please confirm if you're female by drawing a circle.
Thanks so much. Fabulous. Just fabulous. Thank you. Are you a wise woman?
Or would you be the cunning woman? Cunning. Yeah. That's probably why the cat is. So that's time. Oh, yes.
Thank you. Can you just stop so we can ask another question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you from the 1800s? Are you from the 1600s? Oh, it's moving. Yeah.
But did they have the pentagram at that time? Were you persecuted for being a cunning woman?
That's it means.
You have
Brilliant.
to remember, you're going back to the 1600s. Our language is different.
Yeah.
Were you accused of witchcraft?
That's it.
Oh, I am so sorry.
So sorry. The most annoying thing is there are false allegations because they wanted the land or they wanted to get back on someone they thought slighted them.
Were you hung in Launceston? What would Launceston have been called?
So just remember
Ransom.
to ask a spirit that.
Mm.
Do you know how personal that is? So we have to tiptoe and just say,
Okay.
did the authorities, did the judge, did you have a trial? So to trying to
Okay.
use words,
Okay.
because over the years of doing this, people say, when did you die? I look back and think, crap, that's a horrible question to ask someone. So we have to rethink how we speak. And that's really hard to do.
So what do I ask?
So she was accused of witchcraft.
Mm.
We got that. Ooh. Was she brought in front of a judge?
Can I ask, and I'm sorry if I offended you, can I ask, were you
Brought in front
of a judge?
Were you punished? Because someone would accuse her, then they'd have to go to the authorities. Let me ask it this way. Were there consequences for you when you were accused of witchcraft? Yes, there were consequences. Thank you so much, Art, for answering. So if she was a local from here, we got to think of the right words. If you just done that, ask, because our language is too much now. Launceston these days have a much of a witchcraft going on. A lot of our witches coming out. Are you pleased with that? Do you think that we witches should stay in hiding a bit longer? So we have to thank James I for turning it into that sort. She's still got that belief with the witch hunter general as well.
We are safe now. It is safe for us to come out and practice our magic in the open. But I'm so sorry that you went through a horrible time and you're still innocent.
You can ask her that after she was accused, was she allowed to go back home? If it's no, then either she was jailed, locked, or could you please stand still for a second, because we would like to have the planchet being still and then ask a question. Thank you so much for making it still. Stop the movement. Were you allowed to go back home after you were accused of witchcraft? Were you allowed to go back home?
Remember, it's a straight line for no,
just a straight line for no.
and a circle for yes.
And that was the best clip that I could salvage and save from all of the clips that I had taken at the White Hart Ghost Hunt. The rest of the clips just sounded terrible. You can hear some of the interference and the voice distortion in that clip, but the rest of my clips were just unbearable to listen to, unfortunately. If there are any paranormal experts or paranormal teams out there that would like to listen to all of the clips that I got with all of that interference and distortion, just to see if that you can find anything in there or hear anything that I can't, then feel free to contact me and I will happily send them to you. Okay, so the last few clips you will hear of the festival will be the presentation or talk that was given by Corrine and Lisa the next day about the paranormal team at the Jamaica Inn and the work that they do there. You will also hear a talk from Ethan Pennell, who is an artist, and he created the Dartmoor folklore map, talking a little bit about the folklore of Dartmoor. And then we finally wrap things up at the end of the festival with a few clips from the medium Claire Hinks.
So let's go on to ghost stories, because I could talk for ages. This is an old photo, probably 1930s, because the Jamaica Inn had a lot of changes over the years. We were lucky enough to see some plans, and it was fascinating how many more rooms there were than what you see now. So the man on the wall. This is a well-documented sighting, and like a lot of people in 1911, it's something people didn't really talk about with ghosts. And the locals that lived there, I think around that time, there's probably about between 150 to 200 people in the hamlet. And you know the hamlet's called Boaventer, but it was originally called Birdventure, and that's what Captain Rold called it. So, locals were going by their business, and they saw a man dressed in old-fashioned clothing on the wall. People went up to talk to him. He ignored them. And after quite a while, he just simply vanished. And that is our first paranormal sighting. Then, with our research, we've gone to the 1920s to 1949. Nothing. Now, I'm going to interview the great nephew of Bert Horrell, who was there in the 1930s, so maybe he might have some stories. Who knows? But the next era that we start getting paranormal reports is the 1950s, when it was owned by Stanley Thomas. Now, it's the first time I've shown this picture publicly. It's the manager, Mr. Grouse, and his second wife. I interviewed their daughter that was born there. Now, Mr. Grouse was a prisoner of war. He was in the Grenadier Guards. His first wife dropped dead with a brain aneurysm, unfortunately. And like a lot of things in the 1950s and today, he got her pregnant, so he had to marry her. But it wasn't a happy marriage because he liked his drink. Now, the lady's mother was the most fascinating one. She spoke that during the day, the Jamaica Inn was this lovely, friendly, welcoming inn. But soon as night fell, she hated it. She said she felt as if everything was watching her. Mm-hmm. And it was the time of the first now paranormal pop. So you know the snug when you come down, you got the bar, you got Mary's bar, and then you got the little snug that go out to reception. Anyone in there? It's a tiny little part of the end of the fireplace. They were shut on an afternoon. His staff were working, and a man in a tricorn hat and a long green coat just walked out and out the door. And the staff were just like, "Hey, who's that?" The other paranormal report, which seems to have gone now, and I wanted to kidnap her and take her home, was of a housekeeper or a maid. When people stayed there, they would wake up in the morning and their clothing would be neatly folded and left on the end of the bed. Now, their daughter, her bedroom was the famous room 5. And she said when she was about 2 or 3, she didn't sleep very well in there. So they would put the family Alsatian into the room and she would sleep. The last couple of years, a lady woke up and she thought because she's got dogs, she thought there was a dog led across her at the bottom of the bed. I wonder if it's the Alsatian. So, one funny story from that time, and I love this. The daughter was about 3, and in the 1950s, Daphne du Maurier was so famous. Film stars, Diana Dors, and royalty would come to the Jamaica Inn. And one day, the Danish royal family turned up. So Mr. Bruce was, being very, very accommodating. And the two little princesses were there, very prim and proper. And the landlord's daughter had a dolly. And one of the princesses grabbed the dolly off her. And I said, well, what did you do? She said, I shoved her on her ass. She said, my father was mortified. But the parents laughed out loud. That reminded me, I put my phone on flight mode. I did apologise. The worst one for it, aren't I? But also, there was a pet pig that used to walk around the bar. And that is the importance of oral history, is keeping those reports alive. So, next one, my darling. Now, this is, they called it the lounge, now it's the main bar. And I just love how it used to look. I mean, obviously, it's still old. But you imagine in those times, maybe you went there years ago?
Yes, yeah, maybe.
And it was absolutely wonderful. So, next one. 1970s. I thought I was out to sing then. So, then the 60s, I interviewed a lady that worked there 1959 to 1969. Not much was said. Again, people didn't really talk about ghosts as they do now. So, room 6, when there was a lady I interviewed, it was her, she'd been married probably about a couple of months, and they didn't know anything about the Jamaica and decided to stay. And room 6 then had the old-fashioned latch that you opened and a Yale key. And you have to go down one step to get into it. And she said, I was fast asleep. I woke up. She said, early hours. She said, I don't know if it was 1, 2 in the morning. She said, I was freezing. My husband was asleep to the right of me. And she said, I could hear someone playing on the catch, trying to get in. And she said, I thought, I don't know this. So she tried to wake her husband, typical husband, fast asleep, can have a bomb go off, they don't wake. And she said, then she saw this black mist come from under the door and come up the bottom of the bed about that high. And I said, what was it like? She said, do you remember Star Trek when they used to bing them up? She was those lights. It was like that. And she's there trying to slap her husband to wake herself up. And she said, I'm in the bed and it's starting to float towards me. She said, I'm petrified. She said that it stopped, went back under the door. And she said, I love this place. I come down, but I don't stay in that room. I stay in the new block. And I didn't have the heart to tell her that 3 of the rooms in the new block are haunted as well. So one of the other stories from that 1970s was a lovely girl. She was about 7. She was in the back of her parents' car on the old A30 outside the front of Jamaica Inn. And children are so innocent, they see things that we don't as adults. And she said, Ma, that man sat on that wall. Why is everyone ignoring him? He's dressed weird. I'm doing her accent because her accent was worse than mine. And her parents looked and they went, what man? And that's the closest I can get, 1970s, to another sighting of the man on the wall. There may be more, but unless people tell us, we don't know.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our second Tarosvan talk. I'd like to introduce you to Ethan Pennell, the artist, writer, folklorist, who is here today as his alter ego, Crowman Crow. Ethan, you're going to talk to us about Ghostly Dartmoor, right? I'm going to give you the floor. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I won't stay like this for long because it's actually incredibly impractical. But it's really good at the start of a talk because it helps me sort of go into this other space, hide behind the mask, as they say. So, as you can see, this is all about Ghostly Dartmoor. So not Cornish ghost stories, but many of you know Dartmoor well. Yeah. And you probably know quite a lot of the stories, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to go through some of them. I don't know if anyone knows about my Dartmoor folklore map. Does anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of behind it. This is a very tattered copy, which I'm happy to pass around if you haven't seen it. So this map was a real labour of love. It took me 7 years to create, and I finally finished it about 3 years ago, actually now. And it's been, it's actually very surprised. It's actually selling very well. It's in a number of bookshops. The only place in Cornwall I sell it is Black Cat Books. So, crossed over the border.
Welcome.
And I've also been working on a book to accompany it. And that's taken me 10 years so far. I've pretty much finished the draft copy. So this could be seen as an excuse. There's a lot of research. I can't remember all of it off the top of my head. So I will be reading excerpts from the book, but hopefully as we go on, I'll try and entertain you at the same time. If you want to know why I'm the Crow Man, it all started off. Initially, I thought I would do some storytelling. I don't see myself as a more storyteller, I'm more of a writer and an artist. But at one point, I did do a storytelling workshop, and I thought it'd be quite a nice guise, but it was scaring too many kids. So I sort of put that on hold for a while. And then when I started the map, I just thought, yeah. Well, when I started giving the talks, it was a nice way. When I first started, I'm always a little bit nervous when I start a talk, but this was a great disguise as well. Although I can't really see much. So the Crow Man is my artist alter ego, and in a way it represents parts of myself, those parts of myself that I really like to step into when I'm in a creative space. So the sort of wilder, freer spirit, for example, connecting to the non-humans, the liminal place, walking between worlds. So that's the Crow Man. But there is an interesting story. I was having some shamanic healing like you do, and the person, well, you don't, but the person I was seeing, she's very psychic, and she'd often tell me that she would see an ancestral spirit with me. That was interesting stuff. But then one day she said, "There's someone else in the room, or something in the room with you, but it's not a spirit as such. It's actually a part of yourself." And he's calling himself the Crow Man. And she described him. And at this point, nobody had ever seen my outfit. This was before I'd taken it out and dressed up in public. So a shiver went down my spine. But the lovely bit, she said, if you work with the Crow Man, if ever you're stuck, ask yourself, what would the Crow Man do? So I've been attempting to do that ever since. Now I'm going to spoil it all by taking it off. So I'd be part Crow Man, part Ethan. I suppose I should take this up as well because it could, I don't know. It's a bit sort of dodgy, isn't it, with the balaclava? The other thing is, it messes up my hair. So I do have a nice cap to wear, but whatever. Okay. Actually, the first story isn't so much as such a ghost story. But I wanted to show off my 1970s doll's house, which I think is rather wonderful, don't you? If anyone remembers the 70s, the ghastly wall. So it's original wallpaper, ghastly wallpaper and carpet. But it's to showcase this chap, who is Parson Harris. Anyone know about Parson Harris? A real life person. So he was an 18th century conjuring parson and wizard. So from Hennock. Now, does anyone know anything of conjurers?
They conjure things.
This is when I might need my notes to remember. Okay, conjurers use magic spells to invoke and control spirits. And from the 1600s onwards, they were much in demand for finding lost property, healing specific diseases, laying ghosts, And what else did they do? Oh, they'd help you find. Oh, I mentioned lost property. No, I didn't. I said finding specific things. But they could even predict the future through astrology. So in this scene, the parson has gone one better and time travelled, as I said, to the 1970s, where he confronts two particularly lively ghosts haunting a semi-detached property in the suburbs of Plymouth, which is where I live. So he's equipped with his trusty copy of Agrippa's fourth book on occult philosophy, the Robert Turner edition, for those interested, a popular grimoire amongst the 18th and 19th century English cunning folk. Next slide, please. So still using the doll's house. Here we have some phantom monks. So there are lots of phantom monks on Dartmoor. The spider's just there for effect. So this is a true story, 1950s, 60s. I haven't found the actual newspaper reports or the TV footage. I'd love to. But basically a house in Bobby Tracy, not sure where, was being haunted by these monks, and they were going up and down the stairs at the same time every night. So anyway, the vicar was called in and they exorcised the place, and that was that. But what's interesting is when they were investigating, they found that at the back of the staircase, so on the treads, there were the initials and names of various monks from Buckfast Abbey. So the staircase had actually come from Buckfast Abbey. So someone earlier on, someone mentioned objects, do they bring things in? So I guess this is a good example of that. I'm imagining if the staircase wasn't there, then you wouldn't see the monks. Right, next one, please. So, more monks. Does anyone know the Lich Way on Dartmoor?
Yes.
Yeah. Has anyone walked it? Has anyone seen anything? Okay, this is a really interesting one because there have been stories for quite a while now about phantom monks being seen on it. It's an old coffin path. So up until 1260, if you lived on Dartmoor and you died on Dartmoor, the only place you could be buried was Lidford. So you can imagine if, say, you were living in Hexworthy. Do you know Dartmoor?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's probably 12 miles or so, isn't it? And it's very, difficult terrain. Imagine in bad weather. So people got fed up and they petitioned, and eventually the law was changed. And then since then you could be buried in other places such as Widdicombe. But over the years, people saw phantom monks or funeral processions along the Lich Way. And what's interesting, this is a painting. It's on an old cloth map of Dartmoor. And I was exhibiting it at an exhibition. And this woman came up to me and she said she didn't know the story, but she'd been on the Lich Way and she'd seen the monks exactly as I depicted them coming out of the mist. So that was great. That's one person that can verify it. Then I met someone else who she said she was always, she's always been psychic. When she was about 19, she was hanging out on the edge of Wistman's Wood. She looked up and she saw the monks along the Lich Way. So there you go. Must be true.
Spirit Like Us to Laugh. I actually really love this room because it's not too big, and I feel like that you might feel conscious it's a bit claustrophobic because it's a bit small in here. But actually, it's really lovely because it keeps all your energy in this lovely bubble. And I feel like there's lovely energy in here tonight. Smile and be happy. You're here. It's very exciting. Got a Tarosvan festival. Woo! Yeah, woo! So I will do my best for you. Sometimes you are the person that needs to pass on a message. So I might come to you and give you a message, but it might actually not be for you. It might be for somebody close to you. Keep an open mind if you haven't done this before, because I've recently done a reading for somebody and it's not always easy. It was an online reading, and it became clear very quickly that the lady wasn't getting what she was expecting. So in other words, I think she thought I was going to say it in black and white. Right, this is Uncle John, and he said, you need to clean bathroom, or, you know, he lives next door. You know, it doesn't work like that. It's not an exact science, and I'll do my best to deliver it the best way I can for you. But yeah, so just keep an open mind. I want to kick off. Hang on. This is my gin. I'll be drinking a lot of this.
What's this room?
So, hi. All right. Yeah, the energy is really good. It's really weird. It's really good. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. Well, for me, I feel like I'm flying around over it. Do you feel it heavy? Okay. Do you have a granddad in spirit? And do you remember him?
My old granddad.
Your what?
Old granddad.
Okay.
It's like great grandparents.
Okay.
But I'm okay.
He's there. Oh, this man's coming in. So, did he have a beard or something on his face? Like,
kind of a mustache.
okay. So because he's going, let's just see old. Let's just see old. And he's kind of got, I feel like he's leaning on something. Do you have a walking stick? Or do you, I don't feel like he needs it, but it's like I want to lean on something. He's very, very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word. But he just is very in the room. I knew you had it then. There you have it then. He's a bit squire-like, you know? Do you know what I mean? You're not do. You know this man today. So would this be your granddad?
No. So this is their dad's mum's dad. So they all call them old. It's what the family did.
Okay.
I used to think it was very rude, but I don't do
And where is there a Jack John George? Jack John George? Oh, it's the Jack John George. I feel like that you're really, like, do you see things? Because there's lots of lights twinkling around you, and I feel a bit fearful. Does it scare you?
When I was younger.
But not so much now. Because I don't feel like, don't be scared, because he says, don't tell him not to be scared. Don't be scared. It's you're in control. So you can say, shh, leave me alone. The thing about spirit is that we think when we're seeing them, when they're walking in our bedroom and we can't sleep at night, we're all going, oh my God, spooky, this is your spirit. But we forget that we can actually say, get lost, I'm going to sleep. We're the ones in control, because we're actually trying to, survive, okay? Live the life, get the sleep, get the rest, get the food. So you just have to put boundaries in place. Your granddad's telling you that, right? I do feel like, I feel like there's a George or a John or something. You don't know.
May for now.
It's a J.
Yeah, this is why. Yeah.
Oh,
So my old granddad's called Brian.
Oh, okay. It's quite a strong G.
Yeah.
Is she still alive?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand being surrounded by hills? Do they live in the country or something?
No, that's what he said when we moved to Launceston.
Well, you saw
My granny went, oh, they've moved to Launceston, it's on a hill. And you went, everything's killing.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Which times it feels to get up here. Okay.
Yeah.
Been surrounded by hills. Be who you are. He's very proud of his family. He's very proud of his family, and he reminds you to be uniquely you, authentically you. That means doing what fills your cup, what makes you happy, trusting your instinct, doing the things. I feel like that you've got really good support here, and that's amazing, because not everyone does. But I feel like he says, you know what, that your life is full of it. Live your best life. Live your best life. I feel like do you like adventures? Like, I feel like, go and have an adventure. He's like, go and have an adventure. Go to the seaside. Go on a plane. Go for a picnic. Go and do things. He said, don't hold yourself back, because there's an amazing world out there. Mm-hmm. All right? You agree? I agree. Yeah, life's too short, so make sure you live it, all right? Don't be fearful of things that you see. because spirit aren't there to scare you. They're there to help you. You just need to learn. You just need to learn it. Okay, we can have a chat, mate. He's a nice man. He goes, is that it then? It's good to me. Is that it then? I don't know, is it? Is that it then? There's a lot of love too. There's a lot of love here. A lot of love in your family unit. And I feel like I walk through the walls and they go, and they hold me. Like, I feel really comfortable in your family space. Do you understand that?
Well, I'm mum, so I'm biased.
No, that's like you're nodding away there. Yeah, but I feel like that's really important though, because your family unit is really important and it's really strong. You've good family, you've got a good circle around you. He's acknowledging that. Okay, and it's not just you. It goes out like this. He's taking a bit of credit because he's like, well, we this side of the family. Then this side where we were good like that. Is there a Scotland link?
Oh, my dad's dad was Scottish. Oh, I know he wasn't. We've got a Scottish surname. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think he prefers Scotland to here. That's why I kind of felt like I wanted to put you just now, Scotland. Have his love, all right? And just know that you're right where you need to be, all right? You've calmed down now. The energy's changed, hasn't it? Yes, the energy's changed. Need more gin. Have his love. Pass it on if you can as well, because I feel like that there's people around you that might need to be popped in. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed listening to this episode of Tarosvan. I just want to say a massive congratulations to Emily and Lawrence. The festival was such a success. All of the tickets were sold out and people really enjoyed themselves. And I had so much fun podcasting that weekend. I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it. In fact, all three of us were, but it was definitely worth it. Like I said at the start, another Tarosvan will be put on again in October of this year. So if you missed out this time, keep an eye on the socials. I'll link them in the show notes and you can be updated for when tickets go on sale for the autumn one. Okay, so let's move on to our Witch Weekly events. Starting with local covens that are seeking new members. So if you're a solitary witch looking to join a coven, this might be for you. Ros and Booker, one of Cornwall's longest established covens, hold meetings in North Cornwall and the Devon-Cornwall border. Applicants are welcome to introduce themselves via email and can visit their website for more information. The Cunning Grove is a witch and occult shop based in Plymouth. They currently hold the Coven of the Sacred Grove. They are a diverse group of witches from different paths that come together to learn and support each other. Within their coven, they break the year down into 4 seasons. The physical coven meets on a Tuesday and Thursday nights fortnightly. They also have an online coven with spaces available. Everyone is in a group together, and each week they drop different techniques and teachings from PDFs, slides, and videos. Joining the covens comes with a range of benefits. You can get money off the shop and services, and you can also make use of the coven library, which is for local members only. To join the physical coven, it's £30 per person, and if you want to join the online coven, that's £15. If you would like to get in touch, you can message them through their Instagram page or Facebook page, and I've also added their email address in the show notes. Seren from Serendipity Healing holds 3 women's circles. These are Tuesday in Abbot Skerswell, Wednesday in Torquay and Thursday in Totnes, and they are all from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. Participants can choose the date and venue that suits them, and she covers the same information in each one. They happen every 3 weeks, so you can celebrate the Sabbath and connect to nature's cycles. And then you will have a session between each Sabbath to look inward. She teaches a variety of modalities. These include somatic movement, guided meditations, tarot and oracle cards, witch runes, exploring crystals, herbs, journaling, creative expression through arts and crafts, Reiki, Sekhem energy, drumming and sound, goddess work with the archetypes, meaningful ritual and ceremonies, and lots more. Local witchy and spiritual events. Continuing with the Cunning Grove, on Wednesdays they hold a Witch and Stitch, which is a free weekly crochet, knitting and witchcraft session. And on Saturday mornings, they hold a free Witch and Brew session, which is a social with tea, talk, and it has a teaching focus. And you can find out more information via their website, which is linked in the show notes. If you have an upcoming witchy or spiritual event, and you would like me to do a shout out for your event on the show, then please contact me. My details are in the show notes, and you can find me at the Cornish Witch Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. That is everything I have for you for this episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Cornish Witch Podcast. This podcast is an independent personal project created outside of my professional life. It exists as a space for conversation with witches, spiritual practitioners, and those walking their own paths, sharing lived practice, ritual, experience, and folklore often rooted here in Cornwall and the land itself. If you value these conversations and would like to support the continuation of the podcast, there is a voluntary link in the show notes. Listening will always remain free and there is no expectation to contribute. Whether you support here, listen quietly, or carry these stories onward by sharing them with others, thank you. Your presence honours the craft and keeps these tellings alive. May these stories find you when they are meant to. And until next time, may the path rise to meet you.